So we're talking about New Life today, which is a new horror thriller from John Rosman. Look who's here. My boys are here. Chris is in the middle. Matt's on the other side. Hi.
Hi.
So who wants to sum up this synopsis? I think you're both pretty good at synopsises. Synopses.
I think it's Matt's turn on the synopsis front today.
Oh, it's your turn, Matt.
Oh, is it? Okay. It's a story about a young woman who is traveling by herself across the U.S., seemingly trying to escape something, but we don't really know because it's a little vague in the beginning. There's another woman, a government agent, who's following her, but we also don't know why she's following her. It seems to be pretty important that she tracks her down. And then through flashbacks, we realize this young woman had a boyfriend who she was camping with, and they encounter a dog, a la The Thing, that dominated them. And no spoilers. And
wow,
she's on the
that's
run
quite
knowing
spoilery. That synopsis. Carry on, though. You're doing a great job. But I was thinking, wow, are we going there? Are we going there?
It's a minor point. And then she's on the run, and this woman's closing in pretty close and is about to capture her for reasons we vaguely find out why it's so important that she's captured. And that's pretty much the setup of the...
Oh my God, Matt, that was me thinking you didn't remember any of it. You've remembered everything and more, I think. You've done the special features.
It's the general kind of idea, right?
It's great. So it's director-writer John Rosman, who's a writer and director based in LA. This is his first feature. Sonya Walger is a British actress who's, I think, now living in the US, but she's one of the characters in this. She's the woman who's the resourceful fixer assigned to bring the protagonist in. But the protagonist is it Erin, and also Tony Amendola, who played Father Perez in Annabelle. He's in it as well. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of two stories to begin with, isn't it? I think about 30 minutes in, you understand a lot more. And for the first half an hour, I was thinking, where's this going? Because this is like really mysterious. And I kind of liked the fact that it was mysterious, because it did make me think about what I was watching. And then all of a sudden, yes, thank God that I understand more. I think if it carried on the way it started, I would have lost interest.
I got to say that I'm clearly not quite as bright as the other two of you, because I was just going with it to start with, and I was like, I thought that the woman chasing was actually something to do with the police or the FBI or something. I didn't get that she was government agent to start with at all, because I don't get your US uniforms. I didn't know what she was. So I just thought, young woman is on the run, and older woman is looking for her. And I made some assumptions about what might have happened and why she might be being pursued. And I really enjoyed the fact that when it starts to get revealed, I was like, oh, look, I was completely wrong about what I was assuming about these people. And I really enjoyed that, because I just go with these things. And then, someone gives me a clue written on a big piece of top, and I'm like, no, not getting it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the way it unfolded, actually.
What about you, Matt? Did you enjoy it overall?
I don't know if enjoy is the right word. It was interesting. I was trying to figure out what the connection, because it is very vague for a long part of the film. You don't know. Yeah. I thought they might be related or something, that she knew her as a person, not just as an object to follow. The movie had lots of vagueness to it, which is something you either love, that kind of like mysterious element of you don't really know what's going on and why, or it kind of drives you crazy after a while, where you want more concrete answers. And I don't think the film really gave anyone any concrete answers, and maybe that's okay. It looked really good. I mean, it's obviously a small budget film, filmed with actors who aren't like relatively big name people. And in that aspect, I think it's well done. There's the kind of air of like emptiness throughout it, and kind of, I don't know how to describe
isolation. Because I got that isolated feeling. I think it's the director of photography, who's Mark Evans. I think he did a really good job of capturing that wide scenery and obviously her kind of travelling and on the run, and I think that was captured quite well. I think it looked good and it looked atmospheric. But I agree. I think there was a lot of vagueness. I was glad that half an hour in, it wasn't any longer than that when we started to realise what was going on, because I think, I would have lost interest had it been longer. I mean, it's a snappy running time. It's like 85 minutes, which I think is just right. I think there's a lot more in that kind of half part of it, because obviously that's when the body horror elements come in, and I think the violence and the gore is pretty good. It looked quite authentic to me. I thought it was well done.
Honestly, it took me way more than half an hour to work out what was going on. So you two were streets ahead of me, clearly. I just kind of went with it, and I loved, like I say, I really loved how it unfolded, actually, and I thought there wasn't vagueness for me, because somehow I was just believing what I was being presented with. Yes, okay, maybe there was vagueness, but I was filling in the gap. So I was just like, okay, I think I know what's going on here. And I quite liked the fact that I thought I'd worked it out, and then it just turned on its head because that wasn't what I was assuming. So either I was really tired, or you guys are like super, super clever and I'm really not, because I didn't get that sort of, the vagueness worked with me. Like I worked with the vagueness and I just filled in the gaps, and I liked the fact that actually I'd filled them in wrong, and I had it wrong. I actually quite liked that. I
think the main problem for me was that we didn't have much of a backstory about the woman that was on the run, the protagonist, Hayley, Erin's character. So it kind of made me not care as much, though, because I thought, well, you're running away, but why should I care about that? Because I think you have to have a certain amount of compassion or a feeling for someone's reason, the cause, why it's happening. And because we were so confused in that first 20 minutes, half an hour, that kind of drew me out a little bit as to why I should care. But I think that's the only problem that I have, is that there could have been a little bit of a build-up to that story initially to make me care more.
I agree with that, Phil, because I think there wasn't a vagueness about what was unfolding with the plot. It was more a vagueness of the intention of characters, like, why are they doing this? That doesn't really get resolved until the end of the film. But you understand that person A is being chased by person B. That becomes clear relatively quickly, but you just don't get the back, like you just say, don't get the backstory of why this is going on. And that leaves a little bit of emptiness behind, where it's just like, I guess she's chasing her for some reason, and you just kind of got to go with it at that point.
I've got to say, one thing I really enjoyed about it was this, that really struck me, because I was on a different journey to you guys. So one thing that I started to really see was this kind of kindness being extended to the woman that was on the run by people along the way. And I really enjoyed that, because I was just like, oh, okay, is this going to be a cautionary tale about accepting kindness or offering it? And is there going to be something kind of that backfires on these people, which, spoiler alert, there kind of is. So, but I quite enjoyed, again, the mystery for me was, why is she on the run? Yeah, I had to I was kind of thinking about that, but I liked the fact that people were assisting her and being kind to her and trying to help her along. And then that changes, obviously, because of some of the reveals that happen. But, there's a couple of people who really extend kindness to her. And I'm like, oh yeah, would I do that? If some random woman arrived and didn't offer any explanation why she was in my backyard, would I be kind to her? And I was just quite interested in that, actually, as a little theme in there.
Yeah, because she's trespassing. She goes to the elderly couple's house and she goes to their garage and she's rifling through tins of soup, and she obviously steals those, and she's caught stealing those, but then they invite her in. So I think that's quite a valid point, because it does kind of pose the question, would you do that if that was you? Would you help her? Obviously, a young woman probably would, more than likely, I think.
We should ask somebody who lives in the same state in America whether they would extend that kindness to someone if they found them in their backyard. Can we think of anyone who fits that bill?
I think we know someone very well who was there when it was being filmed. I don't think he knew about it at the time, though. Matt, tell us more.
No, I wouldn't do that. for many reasons, and one of them being I don't want to get turned into a zombie, but Many other reasons too. Yeah, let's just say that.
This was well received at the horror festivals. I think it was Fright Fest and Fantasia. It screened out, and the audience, loved it. And I can kind of understand why, because there is a lot of tension in the second half. When it really gets going, when that kind of violence and gore comes in. I thought that was well done, and it did, keep me on the edge of my seat a little bit.
Yeah, I think one thing I think is interesting about this film is that, in like a larger sense of the word, is that I'm assuming it was filmed in the last couple of years, so it has that sense of I think other films maybe you guys have seen, that there's a sense of isolation and kind of separateness, just because probably of the filmmaking process they couldn't have a bunch of people close together and stuff like that. But I think that's kind of going to be a wave of films that maybe have already come out that have that kind of sense of isolation and small groups of people together, or people alone for that reason. And that could be a genre in itself of films of this kind of COVID isolation experience kind of thing.
Yeah, it hit a nerve because we've all been through that COVID thing, and it did feel, I think more believable for that, because there's a certain amount of truth in what we're seeing.
I was going to say that we like to do little notes for filmmakers in these reviews, don't we? And you and Matt, love to tell filmmakers that their trailers give too much away and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this didn't, did it?
In this case, I'm going to say the movie poster is probably the most misleading poster that I've ever seen in my whole life.
Because it's quite sci-fi.
It looks sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be that kind of a film, and it's not that kind of film at all. And yeah, notes for filmmakers, posters, wrong poster, guys.
I love the fact it didn't give much away, because I'm going to stop watching trailers, I think. But obviously you need an indication of whether it's going to be a good film that you're going to enjoy. But obviously we review, so we like to be quite honest about whether we've enjoyed it or not. So I think we should go straight in without watching the trailer. But another thing I was going to ask you, particularly Matt, the Mondo Boys did the music, did the score for this. I thought the score was great. Quite, throbbing and pulsating and alarming. There's a certain amount of danger in that music. They're an American musical duo, much like yourself, Matt, in microfilm.
I have to say, I didn't really notice the score, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it was a good thing because it's just kind of an unobtrusive. People can catch up on it. It's not overpowering, but like I said, I didn't really notice it, unfortunately. I'll have to check it out, though.
Film score? I think you should. I think microfilm should offer their services.
Well, if people offer up the big bucks, sure, right?
It's all about the money.
But only big bucks, not like mini bucks. Big bucks.
Yeah, what's the point? You wouldn't want to get out of bed.
Not that tiny indie bucks, but the Hollywood studio bucks, right? We did do a score for a non-existent movie last year with our Giallo score. That wasn't obviously a real movie, but we pretended it was in the title.
Well, not yet anyway. If somebody's making a film, they might want to use it.
I think maybe I should make a movie poster for a film that doesn't exist, so that the poster will be everything it needs to be, and then someone just has to fill in the gaps with the music and the poster and make the movie. We should do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go for a score rating. Stars out of 5. What we're going to go for, Chris?
I really, really like this film, but I think that's slightly because I was filling in the gaps a lot myself, so I got real enjoyment, in a different way to you guys. So I really enjoyed it for that reason, and I'm really tempted to give it big Hollywood bucks 5, to be honest, because I really, really enjoyed this film.
I'm clutching my pearls.
You are clutching your, but I can hear them jangling.
Is that your first 5? I think it might be.
I think it might be my first 5, yeah.
Ooh, pop the champagne. I don't think it's going to be 5 for Matt, though. Is it, Matt?
No. It's going to be 3.
Well, I'm going for 3 as well. I think I might have liked it a little bit more. I think mine's a strong 3. If we were allowed halves, it would be 3.5, but we're not allowed halves, so 3.
Well, you're both wrong.
Always wrong. So, Chris, you've gone for 5. Is there anything you didn't like about it?
No, probably, but I'm just being difficult. I liked it because I thought the mystery, the level of mystery in this film is really high. I was taken in by a bunch of stuff, or I filled in some gaps, and was then surprised to find out the truth, and that was really entertaining. And actually, I watched it with my husband too, and he got the same too. So it wasn't just me being mad. We both got that kind of journey, which we really enjoyed. We both finished it, and that was a really good film. We both really, really enjoyed that. So I'm sticking to my guns. You won't shake me.
You do that. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. So it's out on VOD on the 3rd of June. Let us know if you're watching it, if you're intrigued about it, maybe seen the trailer and you think, oh, that's a film for me. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Before we go though, Matt, there's something we need to discuss, and that's my vocal. I was doing this.
What would you like to say about it?
Well, it depends on how much you're willing to reveal.
I guess we could say that Phil has done a vocal performance for an upcoming track. It's me. I don't want to say any more than that at this moment because it's not imminent, so I don't want to give away too much.
Oh, I'm slightly disappointed by that. I thought we were going to get the exclusive. It's not happening now.
I gotta say that I'm hoping, Philip, when you worked with Matthew here, that you were slightly less lubricated than the last 2 times that I have worked with you behind the decks at Raw Vauxhall Tavern.
No, I wasn't lubricated at all. I was professional.
Are you gonna let me get my hands on it to do a dance floor remix of this? By the way,
it's
of course. It's a slow song, so it's not. It would have to be completely redone.
Now he tells me it's not a banger. I wouldn't have signed up for this if I'd known.
No, you heard the music, Phil. It's not a fast track.
Yeah, it's good. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm allowed to say.
Is it throbby and grindy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, boys, as always. We'll do another review soon. I think we should do a really hardcore horror next time. Hardcore.